Tonight I dine on turtle soup.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Desk of Interesting Things here on Gambit Digital. It's been a little while since we've done one of these because random things come in and out through the office. But this one is interesting because I went out of my way to get it. So, a couple of weeks ago, my girlfriend came up to me and said, hey, I have a Nintendo Switch, and I'd like to use my Gamecube controller with my Nintendo Switch to play Animal Crossing, Smash Brothers, and some other indie titles that she picks up, more traditional kind of games. She asked me, is there a way to do that? I said, of course there is. Let me figure this out. I knew that 8BitDo had a converter adapter sort of thing that looked just like this, the purple one, and that was my intention. So I hopped onto Amazon and I typed in, didn't know the name of it, so I just typed in Gamecube controller to Switch adapter wireless. Of course, it popped up. That is the G-Bros adapter. It's very good. It's $19.99. Totally worth it. Great reviews. Lots of support. That was my intention. But above that was another product. So let's move this out of the way. And it was this. And there is a story here. So this was the first thing that popped up, and it popped up because I listed by price, and this was the cheapest thing at $9.99. Now, it didn't look like this on the description page. It had no packaging of any kind. It was just the item itself, which looked nice. It was this red and blue sort of thing, very American-y kind of converter. Looked like the G-Bros one, only fatter, and it still had the similar control layout. Now, I didn't know, and I actually didn't think that this was a knockoff of the G-Bros adapter. I figured they probably did their own thing, and they just put it in a sort of similar case to kind of try to grab people's attention because 8BitDo is so popular. Now, why did I think that off the bat? Well, this is the answer right up here, if we can see this. This is from a company called Detroit Packing Company. Now, searching for Detroit Packing Company on Google brings you an impossible list of nothing. Because if those of you who know Detroit is an old city, mostly known for car manufacturing and stuff, but also packing and industry of that sort. So typing Detroit Packing Company is going to bring you to a bunch of vintage photos of packing companies within Detroit. But the name itself is incredibly cool for an American company. Just the idea that, okay, it's Detroit, right? They're trying to turn the city around. They're trying to do all sorts of things. A company from its past coming back to doing electronics or something would be really cool. And that's exactly what drew me to this product, the name and the price. I thought, cool, old-fashioned American company, maybe used to a meat packing plant that passed down through the family and is now doing something else. That is incorrect. Looking on their Amazon page, Detroit Packing Company does do a lot of electronics, but there's no real hint of where they're from, that they're American-made. And we'll find out where they're from as soon as I open this. So this was $9.99 on Amazon. So let's look at something. The system compatibility on this thing is Switch and Windows. There we go. We have controller capabilities is the GameCube. There's a GameCube port, as well as the Wii Switch port. Not the Switch port, the Wii U port. And as well as accommodating the NES Classic and SNES Classic. You can kind of see them on the back here, compatible with Switch and Windows 7. Red or purple, this is your first sign of a knockoff product packaging that they usually just take from something because they're never marked. In fact, the Amazon listing doesn't say there is a red version or a purple version. I'll let you know this one is the purple version. So the package came just like this, and as I opened it, I was like, oh god, this has to be a knockoff because it's just generic. But it does say Detroit Packing Company. So let's open it up and see what we get. And there is your first indication that this is a Chinese knockoff. The instructions are listed completely in what looks like Asian characters, I would assume is Chinese, on two separate sides. There are American ones, or English ones, but you have to overfold it to get there. So that is clearly probably not the intended audience for this sort of product. So let's look at the thing itself. like I said, this is the purple one, and this is the packaging that comes with it. Now, not a terrible set of packaging. The instructions are actually readable if they're a little vague at times. And for, you're saving $10. If you're going to save money in anything when it comes to product design, the first thing that's probably going to suffer is the packaging itself, which isn't a big deal, especially if you're going to be selling it mostly online. You don't really have to show the packaging because it's not going to go into a storefront because it's probably illegal. So let's move this stuff away. We're left with the instructions and this micro USB cable, which is required to connect it through Windows. You need to plug it in through there to link it first before it becomes its own separate thing. So this is the unit itself. Let's take a look over here. You have 4 buttons, and you have no idea what these buttons do. This one has a Wi-Fi signal on it. Okay, that one is connection. Also looks like the controller pad, the C-stick for a GameCube controller. I believe the G-Bros one is exactly the same thing, but the icon is totally different, so they don't get called out on it. This is a switch left to right, which is switching between switch mode on the right, Windows on the left. No markings for that. No indication either. It just says here your guess is input and switch. This is a checkerboard pattern, which means absolutely nothing. And this is a star pattern, which means absolutely nothing. But when we look at the display here, it tells us that this is the home button. Not sure what checkerboards mean for home. And this is the star button, which is a star and doesn't give you stars in Mario. So the unit itself is really light, really cheap. Feels like it's completely hollow, mostly because there's a battery compartment. I already filled this in for us before we started. Takes 2 AA batteries. Much bigger than the G-Bros adapter. I don't know if the G-Bros adapters features batteries. I don't think it does. I think it's all just USB powered for 30 plus hours. So this is another way to save money, is to just use regular batteries as opposed to incorporating more parts on it. And that's about it. You have the GameCube adapter for plugs over here, and you have the Switch one, not the Switch one, the Wii one over here. Get them all confused. And that's your lot. Now connecting it is an interesting process. So right here you're going to see an LED light for connection, just like the G-Bros one has. Unfortunately, because this is a cheaply made product, the LED isn't centered on there. It's actually over here somewhere, so you have to hold it at a weird angle so you can't actually see what the hell is going on. Maybe through the viewfinder when I do it, you'll be able to see the LED down there. But that's just shoddy design. So connecting it is weird. So let's look at what the instructions themselves say for connecting it. So connection mode, here we go. The switch host is adjusted to the handle connection interface, and the Bluetooth converter is equipped with a battery. It's not equipped with a battery, you put it in, and the switch host is adjusted to the handle connection. Makes no Americanized or English sense. First connection. Press pair on Bluetooth. Pair is these two things that aren't lining up with this symbol. You would imagine it would be this symbol there, but it's not, because they probably didn't know what it was going to be at the time. Then press home button, which is over here. After 3 to 5 seconds, the LED flickers and enters link state. After linking OK, the GC, this gets really just strangely worded. I still at this point thought maybe this was its own thing and they just kind of borrowed the shell idea and casing from G-Bros, but because I was having trouble kind of making sense of some of these instructions, I went on a video for the G-Bros one to follow their linking instructions, and guess what? It is exactly the same thing, which means it's probably the same internal guts or firmware and stuff in there, which is a big no-no. But let's see how effectively it does connect. So we'll bring the Switch over here. Let's see if we can put it on a stand, if that does anything. Okay, that should help a little bit. So let's do that. Let's turn this on. There we go. We should be good. And let's put this over here in the background. Now that's Aeola's Tournament at the time of this writing. That is not out till the end of the month, so I cannot show you that. That is for an upcoming review. So I'll make sure not to show that footage to get blacklisted by another company. And then let's bring over the original GameCube controller. Now this is from the original GameCube that I had. Girlfriend has the same one, big GameCube fan. She thinks it's the greatest controller in the world. I tend to agree, which is why we're probably so compatible. So this isn't an aftermarket. This isn't the later releases. This is OG Nintendo GameCube. So following the directions, we have first press the pair button on the Bluetooth converter. So that's this one. So we pressed it. Then press home button for 3 to 5 seconds. This is home. 1, 2, 3. Now after that, the LED should enter a link state by blinking, and you cannot even see it through the viewfinder. I can see it with the naked eye. It is like inside there, really offset. If I had the time, I may open this up and reset that, but I'm just afraid if I open this, it would fall apart. So from there, that should be it. It should automatically pair up to your Nintendo Switch. So let's go to controllers, and it should see it right there. It does work right off the bat. So let's place a controller in, and there is your system. Bob's your uncle. We should be good to go. If we find controllers, we see it right there. So let's go back and let's play something real fast to show you how it works. So we'll open up some Xenoverse 2 here. Let me see if I can forget. This game probably takes forever. Now this thing itself says it has a 30-hour battery life. I wouldn't trust that. I wouldn't trust really anything it says, because probably most of it is lifted from G-Bros themselves. And again, I can't really test the battery life that well because I'm using real cheap dollar store batteries, because this is just, I'm not going to spend and use my really good batteries on that sort of stuff. Okay, so the game is on, and I'm using the control to select everything. So press any key. I want to connect. I forgot that Dragon Ball Universe Xenoverse 2 takes 45 minutes to load up. So it's got to connect, because of course it does. The packaging itself is nice, but that's it. You know, that's all you get. You don't get any support or anything. So let's start, and let's show you how well this connection actually works. And I played around a little bit with it so far, and I am impressed. And it's probably clear that I should be impressed, especially if they're using stuff that doesn't quite belong to them. And if 8BitDo gets a hold of me and wants to know where I got this from in the page, I would be happy to send that along to them and their lawyers. So we're still loading, because modern gaming is a nightmare when it comes to just wanting to play a game. And here, magic. No cuts in editing here. I don't want it to seem like I'm messing about with anything. But I also didn't think it'd be this long. So in the meantime, here's Donkey Kong on a Game Boy Advance. Okay, so we're in, and it automatically picks it up like any other controller. See, stick over here works well. Jump works fine. And we run around in circles, and we can talk to people. And if I'm not careful, I am going to get lost and just start playing this game, which I still haven't grasped, because it's very weird setup. Just driving around. And that's it. It works great. There's no problems with it. There's no real noticeable lag, at least for me. If you're just looking for a basic controller, this is absolutely fine. So let's get out of this while that music is working. Do I recommend this? Only if money is a serious problem. It's $9.99, if it's still up there by the time of this recording, compared to the G-Bros $20. That's a pretty big difference, but it comes with a couple of issues alongside that. I would probably recommend you saving the extra $10 to get the G-Bros adapters for $19.99. And I say that because the G-Bros from 8BitDo has fantastic support and a fantastic community. Whenever I had an issue early on with this, trying to figure out how it works, I would be over there with their community looking at stuff with that, because this has none. In fact, the only reason I made this video, not only because this was $9.99, didn't have any reviews at the time, because no one had any videos of this, and I wanted to kind of at least document it for prosperity's sake. Two, this does probably use firmware from 8BitDo, so you could potentially, with the micro USB upgrade, but I wouldn't recommend it. Another feature is the G-Bros one, with I think their latest update, I could be wrong about this, which update it was, now supports MacBooks, so it will work on there. A lot of people use these sorts of things for Dolphin emulation and all that sort of stuff. I tried this on my MacBook Pro to connect it to play some Apple Arcade games. Wouldn't even register it. Didn't know what was going on. So I wouldn't recommend it because you're going to be SOL on your own for this, and that's probably not great, especially how long this thing is going to hold up. I don't know. It was an interesting purchase just to have something for this video and for my girlfriend. It's two birds with one stone. Get an interesting video to document this and get her exactly what she wanted. And I have myself been looking at something like this because I do love the GameCube, a ton of original GameCube controllers, mostly, of course, for Smash and stuff. But I would love to have them wireless up to my big screen TV when I have this guy in docked mode to play. So that's it on the Detroit Packing Company wireless wired to Bluetooth adapter for the Nintendo Switch. If you like this video, thank you. That's cool. Share it around, like, comment, and subscribe. If there's other weird gadgets or peripherals that you're finding online, whether it's on Amazon, maybe it's over on AliExpress or Wish or something like that, let me know in the comments. I'd love to check that out. I am a weird collector of not just gaming memorabilia, but gaming knockoff stuff and bootleg stuff. I think it's just this almost weird art form of butchering an existing property, and I love collecting that and documenting that stuff because while illegal, is neat and will eventually go away. So, thanks for watching. Until next time, we hope you guys have a fantastic day, and I hope to see you again real soon here on the Desk of Interesting Things.